Hello.
Hello, Charlie. I am a moderate, so I don't align with either. But one thing I want to bring up, and I think it's very important, is how affected the black community is in terms of how this election goes. So, what would be the best option for the black voter in terms of this upcoming election?
It's a great question. Now, I'm the whitest guy you'll ever meet, so I'll do the best job I can from a strictly policy standpoint. Is that fair?
Do what you can. Do what you can.
I'll do what I can. Right. But that doesn't mean I can't talk on the issue. I just want to be clear. Number one,
you have my permission.
Number one, and this was mentioned earlier, illegal immigration. We have an obligation to our fellow man and our fellow citizen, especially black America. And black America has been cast aside and cast down for far too long. And so here's what the Democrats are doing. They are bringing in 10 million foreigners into largely black neighborhoods and areas that are going to black schools, black social services, and gymnasiums and school centers that are all, really used by black Americans, and saying you're now being put last again. Black wages are going down as a result of it, and black purchasing power has gone down significantly. Donald Trump had the best economy for black America in nearly 100 years, from home ownership to income levels, from the ability to afford basic services. And we can see this in many different ways. The final thing I'll say is this, is that I find it insulting that Kamala Harris thinks that she can just win over black men by saying we're going to legalize weed and give you cash. I agree with the previous speaker. I don't know if you agree with that or not.
No, well, some of that we're doing to ourselves with how the culture has degraded in the past 20, 30 years.
So in my opinion, the way to try to revitalize these communities is through economic opportunity, through school choice, through restricted immigration, higher wages. And final thing is this. I imagine you want to be able to own a home in your life. Yep.
Yes, I do.
And you live here in Phoenix or plan to, is that right?
Well, I live in the Scottsdale area, so
Fair,
yeah.
It's even more applicable. Okay.
Yeah.
So when Trump was president, the average mortgage payment in Scottsdale, Arizona, so how much you pay to own a home a month, was $700 a month. Now it is $2,000 a month. The average down payment in Scottsdale, Arizona, when Trump was president, was roughly about $30,000. Now it is $75,000 in Scottsdale.
Yikes.
The average income it required to own a home in Scottsdale, Arizona, when Trump was president, was $75,000 a year. Now it's $135,000 a year to own a home in Scottsdale. And so these numbers are chilling. And it's outside of personalities and whether or not, Kamala's brat summer, all that crap, right? What's more importantly is Donald Trump demonstrated that it was easier for you to be able to own a home, which I want you to be able to own a home. And let me tell you why I want you to own a home, and everyone. I think homeownership creates better citizens. I think when you guys aren't renting, you care more about your neighborhood. You care more about your community. You're invested. You actually get richer in the next 30 years. When you guys are renting, you are making one person richer, your landlord. You're surviving when you're renting. You are thriving when you're owning property. And we have the lowest home ownership for your generation in modern American history. Donald Trump will bring it back. He did it the first time, and he'll do it again.
I'll take your word for it. Thank you very much.
You're going to vote for Trump?
I'll plan on it.
I am Democrat, and I'm more left-leaning. I would like to say that, and I would also like to say that I do want to hear you out on things. I want clarification on things. I'm not here trying to push a certain agenda. I just want to know how you feel about things and actually have a conversation. But my question for you was if you believed if IVF was wrong or not.
IVF done correctly is moral, which would have to be one fertilization of an egg at a time.
So you believe that otherwise IVF is...
To be consistent, as a pro-life person, I have to say that if you were to... I have to use the right word here, place multiple fertilized eggs into utero with the intention knowing that most would not survive, then I would believe that would be immoral.
So
Correct.
Do you think that we should ban IVF?
No, I don't.
All right.
Because I just said there's a correct way to do it. And let me just be more clear. Charlie Kirk's position on IVF is in the vast minority of the country. So you have to be politically realistic.
Okay. I just was wondering because I know that I think it's 50% of women above the age of 35 often do have trouble with having IVF.
Which is a deeper issue beyond IVF, which is that we are increasingly infertile because we're poisoning our food supply. But that's a separate issue. But yeah.
Okay. And then another thing I had a
question.
But
I am pro-IVF, for the record.
Okay. Thank you. That answered my question. Another question I had was what your opinion was on the universal tariffs that Trump wants to put on imported goods, the 20%
Yeah,
tariffs.
I'm in favor, yeah.
And so we do tend to have foreign retaliation with those tariffs, like we have seen from China. So you are in favor of the tariffs, even though they can increase taxes and prices?
Did that happen in Trump's first term?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, it didn't. He did over 150 tariffs. We didn't see it. In fact, we saw prices go down.
Okay. I just had one last question. I was doing some research. I don't have like off the top of my head the exact sources, so if you're gonna ask me which source I got, I could not tell you. But I was researching and I saw that red states tend to have a more regressive tax policy on middle class and lower class citizens, and
Yeah, so what you're referring, I'm going to help you out. I disagree with the study. What you're referring to is red states tend to have sales taxes instead of income taxes.
Correct.
And I reject the premise that that's regressive.
Okay.
So, can I explain?
Yeah.
So, for example, the state of Wyoming, which is
Okay.
it's one of the most Republican state in the
Yeah.
country, or the state of South Dakota, has a 0% income tax. So that
Okay.
means you guys, if you live in Wyoming, you pay nothing on the money you earn. So how do they fund the government? They have a sales tax. And so liberals would say that's a regressive tax because it hurts lower income people more.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you. What's your name?
Grace.
Grace, thank you for your time.
Of course. Nice
Thank you.
meeting
Yeah, you too.
So I'm a big fan of, I'm anti income tax, big fan of consumption tax. So I'm very pro tariff. Every single article out there now is that Trump's going to have the highest inflation ever because of tariffs.
These people are so sick. I mean, we're living through the highest inflation ever, and they say Trump will. Sorry to cut you off, but yeah.
So right, and I know that he extended many of the tariffs. Biden extended many of the tariffs, and he also increased some of them. Right. So what is specifically, from a numerical standpoint, are they arguing when they say that he's going to have the highest inflation?
It's a great
ever?
question. What they're assuming is that Donald Trump will slap all these tariffs on these companies with no warning, and then all the price of your goods will go up 10% overnight. Here's how it really works. Let's just take, and we've done this in the past, let's take a company like Toyota. So Toyota is a Japanese car manufacturer, right? And Lyndon Baines Johnson back in the 1960s said, we're going to do a 25% tariff on all pickup trucks. Now, how do you avoid a tariff? It's not a trick question. You avoid a tariff by making the product in America. No tariff. So Toyota, what they do to get around the pickup truck tariff, which, by the way, they're huge. You guys have seen Toyota pickup trucks. They're everywhere. They make all their pickup trucks in America. So what it is, it's a forcing function to redomicile labor back to the United States, not necessarily to just slap a tariff on top of goods coming in. But it's more important to understand this. If we wanted to sell an American-made product like Ford, okay, we are not allowed to sell our American cars in the interior China. They will tariff them 200%. So it's time for us to start reciprocate with tariffs of our own against countries that have always slapped tariffs on us. So it's a bunch of fear-mongering, and I always ask people the question, if Donald Trump will give you inflation with tariffs, why was there no inflation his first term? And they can never answer that question.
Awesome. Thank you for everything.
Thank you.
Under Trump's administration, how is energy production going to benefit us the most?
Well, we're going to drill, baby, drill, and we are going to fix the strategic petroleum reserve. One part of this that we're going to lower gas prices, but think about what's actually raising gas prices. In addition, it's actually not as bad as it was because Biden has opened up the strategic petroleum reserve to lower gas prices for the election, and the Russian-Ukrainian war. That war is artificially boosting gas prices, and also make sure we don't go to war against Iran, which would be a profound mistake for our country. So that's a really, really important thing. Drill, baby, drill domestically. Peace in the Middle East, peace with Russia, Ukraine, you'll see gas prices go down to $30 a barrel. Charlie, what does that mean? $1.75 a gallon. That's what it means, okay?
I have a friend who thinks he's very intelligent, and he's voting for the Green Party, and I talked to him last night for like 30, 45 minutes about it, and he just cannot be moved. What can I do to help him vote for Donald Trump?
Is he a lib or?
He's in the middle. Like
Honestly,
he's
better Green Party than Kamala. So you want to be. It's like it might as well not vote. So I mean, meaning like, and this is the thing. I've tried to. I mean, on my show, I've been telling Democrats, they're losing younger voters to third-party candidates. Like, oh no, we're not. We have all the young people. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, I don't know what. It's hard to do that. I don't know who he is or what values. Ask him what matters most in his life, And if it's war, Donald Trump had no new wars. If it's economy, he had the best economy in modern American history. If it's immigration, he had a secure border. Donald Trump will have no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security, and World War III, drill baby drill. And one of my favorites, no men in women's sports.